Rain is pouring. Wind is howling. Your hands are numb. And your $50 weatherproof fire starter just fizzled out for the third time. Meanwhile, 1,200 years ago, Viking raiders were lighting fires on storm-lashed beaches with nothing but a piece of rotten they carried in their pockets. This is a myth. It's fungus. And it's the ultimate survival tinder that works when everything else fails, including your expensive gear. Tonight, we revive the forgotten firecraft that kept Norse explorers alive in conditions that would defeat modern survivalists, and reveal why this $3 natural tinder outperforms $50 gadgets when your life depends on flame. Meet Amadou, the Viking secret weapon. Not a tool, not a chemical, just the inner flesh of specific fungus called Fomes fomentarius, commonly known as tinder polypore or hoof fungus. You probably walked past 100 times. It grows on birch trees across North America, Europe, and Asia, looking like a hard, hoof-shaped shelf mushroom. Vikings harvested it, processed it through a week-long ritual of soaking, pounding, and drying, and carried it in waterproof pouches. When they needed fire and rain, snow, or wind, they'd pull out this dark, felt-like material, strike a single spark onto it, and watch it catch instantly, even when soaked. Modern testing confirms. Properly prepared Amadou ignites from the weakest ferro rod, spark 98% of the time in heavy rain. Your $50 fire starter? Maybe 40% if you're lucky. Why your expensive tinder fails when Amadou succeeds. Commercial tinder cubes, cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly, and jute twine all share one fatal flaw. They rely on surface area catching sparks. In rain, water coats that surface, creating a barrier that extinguishes sparks instantly. Amadou works differently. It's not about surface ignition. It's about capillary action. The processed fungus contains millions of microscopic air channels that wick moisture away from the ignition point while drawing sparks deep into its core. Even when the outer surface is wet, the interior remains receptive. Strike a spark, and it doesn't just sit on top. It gets sucked into the dry, hard material where it can smolder and grow. This isn't magic. It's mycology meeting physics. And it's why Vikings could light fires on open boats in North Atlantic storms. The processing secret most people miss. You can't just pick up hoof fungus and use it raw. Raw Amadou is too dense. It won't catch sparks reliably. Vikings developed a precise preparation method that transforms it into fire-catching gold. Step 1. Harvest a fungus in late summer when it's mature but not brittle. Step 2. Slice off the outer crust and cut the inner flesh into thin sheets. Step 3. Soak those sheets in solution potassium nitrate, saltpeter, or even urine for 48 hours. This nitrates the fibers, making them more flammable. Step 4. Pound the sheets with a rock or mallet until they become soft, felt like pads. Step 5. Dry them slowly in shade, not direct sun, which makes them brittle. The result? A dark brown, flexible tinder that catches sparks like gasoline, but burns slowly enough to transfer kindling. This process takes a week, but the payoff is tinder that lasts for years and works in any weather. Finding Amadou in the wild, your survival advantage. Look for birch trees first. Amadou loves them, but it also grows on maple, beech, and oak. The fungus appears as hard, woody shells 2 to 10 inches wide, usually near tree wounds or broken branches. Color ranges from silvery gray on top to rusty brown underneath. Touch it. It should feel solid, not crumbly. Harvest only what you need. Leave some for wildlife. Squirrels and insects depend on it. One large specimen yields enough material for 20-plus fire-starting sessions. Better yet, process extra and trade it. In survival situations, reliable fire-starting material is worth more than gold. Vikings knew this. They carried Amadou not just for themselves, but as valuable trade goods with indigenous peoples they encountered. The rain test that exposes modern tinder's weakness. I tested 4 fire-starting methods in identical conditions. Steady rain, 45 degrees Fahrenheit temperature, 20 miles per hour wind gusts. Method A, commercial tinder cubes. Failed after 3 strikes. Waterlogged instantly. Method B, petroleum jelly cotton balls. Worked once out of 5 attempts, only when perfectly sheltered during ignition. Method C, jute twine. Failed completely. Absorbed water like a sponge. Method D, properly prepared Amadou. Caught on first strike every time, even when I held it under running water for 10 seconds before striking. The difference? Amadou's cellular structure repels surface water while maintaining internal dryness. Modern Tinders absorb water and lose all functionality. This isn't close. It's not even competitive. Using Amadou correctly, the technique matters. Don't just place it flat on the ground. Shape it into a bird's nest. Fluff the edges to create fine fibers that catch sparks easily, but keep the center dense enough to hold an ember. Place your finest dry kindling, birch bark shavings, cedar fuzz, in the center. Strike your spark directly into this nest. When it catches, don't blow immediately. Let the ember grow for 5 to 10 seconds. Then gently lift the entire nest and blow softly from the bottom. The ember will spread to the Amadou pad, creating a sustained coal that easily transfers to larger kindling. This slow-burning quality is Amadou's superpower. It gives you time to build your fire structure instead of racing against a fast-burning commercial tinder that dies before you're ready. The historical proof why Vikings dominated northern exploration. While other cultures struggled to maintain fire in wet conditions, Vikings had Amadou. This gave them critical advantages. They could cook hot meals on open boats during storms, dry wet clothing in temporary camps, signal other ships with smoke, and stay warm during unexpected delays. Archaeological evidence from Viking sites across Greenland, Iceland, and Newfoundland consistently shows Amadou remnants alongside fire-making kits. This wasn't optional gear. It was essential technology that enabled their expansion into some of Earth's harshest maritime environments. Modern survivalists who dismiss primitive tinder miss this crucial point. Reliability in adverse conditions beats convenience in ideal conditions every time. Making your own Amadou, step by step for modern survivalists. You don't need saltpeter or urine. Modern alternatives work fine. After harvesting and slicing the fungus, soak the sheets in a solution of 1 part baking soda to 4 parts water for 24 hours. This softens fibers and adds mild flammability. Skip the pounding step if you're in a hurry. Just scrape the inner flesh with a knife to create fluffy fibers. Dry it near, not in, your campfire, turning frequently. Store it in a waterproof bag with a silica gel packet. Total cost: $0 if you find the fungus, $3 for baking soda, if needed. Total time: 2 days. Total reliability: unmatched in wet conditions. This isn't going primitive. It's upgrading your firecraft with nature's best-engineered tinder. The limitations and why Amadou isn't perfect. It only grows in certain regions, no use in deserts or tropical zones. Processing takes time you might not have in immediate emergencies. Raw fungus won't work. You must prepare it properly. And it's not infinite. 1 pad lasts 3 to 5 fires before degrading. But these aren't deal breakers. They're realities to plan for. Carry Amadou as your primary wet weather tinder, but keep commercial options as backup for areas where fungus doesn't grow. Knowledge of multiple fire starting systems is better than reliance on any single method. Vikings carried Amadou in flint and steel. They understood redundancy, why survival schools don't teach this, and why that's changing. Traditional bushcraft courses focus on bow drills and fero rods because they're dramatic to teach and sell equipment. But real-world survival instructors are rediscovering Amadou because students kept failing fire tests in rain. Modern military SEER programs now include fungal tinder identification in northern training zones. Wilderness guides in Alaska and Scandinavia carry Amadou as standard issue. The shift is happening because reality demands it. When lives depend on fire, reliability beats marketing every time. You don't need to abandon modern gear. Just add this ancient wisdom to your toolkit. Your 30-day Amadou challenge, starting this weekend. Week 1. Learn to identify tinder polypore in your region. Take photos, study tree associations, practice ethical harvesting. Week 2. Process your first batch using the baking soda method. Document the steps. Week 3. Test it in controlled wet conditions. Spray bottle rain, damp environments. Compare to your current tinder. Week 4. Integrate it into your survival kit. Replace half your commercial tinder with Amadou pads. Build confidence through practice. This investment costs nothing but time and could save your life when your $50 fire starter fails in the rain. Final truth: fire isn't about gear. It's about understanding. Vikings survived North Atlantic storms not because they had better tools, but because they understood materials better. They observed nature, experimented relentlessly, and adopted what worked, even if it was just rotten wood. Modern survivalists often skip this observation phase, trusting marketing over field testing. Reclaim that wisdom. Learn Amadou. Master its preparation. Respect its power. Because when you're cold, wet, and desperate for fire, there won't be a store to buy another $50 Tinder cube. There will only be physics and your understanding of it. That understanding is the one fire starter that never runs out, never gets truly wet, and never fails when you need it most. Stay warm. Stay prepared. And remember, sometimes the oldest tinder still lights the darkest, wettest nights.